Ladies and gentlemen. Am I audible, Colonel Ahuja?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah, so it's 6:30 now. So let's start it, and the people will keep on joining afterwards. I thank General Basant Mahapatra to facilitate this webinar through the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Center for Communication and Management. This is the first of the webinar which is being planned by Agri Forces. We started off with the name called Agri Soldiers on July 5th, 2020, when the corona was there, and it was started by three of us, me, Lieutenant Colonel Satyajit Swain, and Captain Krishnan Ramanathan. And today, as on date, we are 106 members in that. We have the aim to grow together with the pure knowledge sharing, collaboration, and bind the veterans in the field of agriculture through a common platform pan-India, starting from Jammu Kashmir to Kerala and from west to east. I won't take much time on this, but what we have planned is that we will start off with the webinars in-house in every 15 days time. And like whoever is into active farming, he would be taking a presentation, and subsequently the people can contact him over the telephone, and the question and answers can be there during the webinar. So it's a pure knowledge sharing which will be there. With this, I come to the today's speaker. Lieutenant Colonel Manish Ahuja is the Managing Director of Punjab Renewable Energy Systems Private Limited, PRESPL. He is an alumnus of the prestigious National Defence Academy, Khadakwasla. He did his BTech in Mechanical Engineering from JNU in 2002, and he did his MTech in Nuclear Technology from Bhabha Atomic Research Center in 2006. In a short span, he set up the first of its kind in India, biomass fuel aggregation and supply company, Punjab Renewable Energy Systems Private Limited. The company has grown from a startup to 360 million rupees turnover company in just 7 years' time. Colonel Ahuja is known in the biomass fraternity as a dedicated and knowledgeable leader. He has been advocating the barriers faced by biomass-based project developers at various seminars and forums, and has been instrumental in embracing the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy Sources India towards the cause of biomass-based industry in India. Colonel Ahuja has been recognized with several eminent awards. Few of them are: in 2013, he was recognized with the biomass as the Biomass Energy Man of the Year award by Renewable World, part of the Fortune Media Group. In 2014, Udyog Ratan Award by Institute of Economic Studies, New Delhi, for the work in the rural parts of the country, which is a direct impact on the rural economy and is making a sizable impact in many parts of the country. 2015, PRESPL has been awarded as most innovative company in renewable sector by Power Today magazine, and the selection has been done by PricewaterhouseCoopers. They have been awarded with the Best Poster Award in Brussels Sustainability Development Summit at Belgium. In 2017, they were declared as amongst the 50 most impactful green leaders global listing by World Sustainability Congress, a non-profit organization advocating sustainable leadership. 2019, they were awarded with the global award, the National Mission Innovation Champions. India announced it in Vancouver, Canada. Colonel Ahuja is a member of few reputed committees in the country. He is the chairperson of the FICCI Bioenergy Committee for the year 2018-19. He is the member of the Bioenergy Subcommittee constituted by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, under the chairmanship of Secretary MNRE. He is also the member of the working group on rice straw utilization at International Rice Research Institute, headquartered at Philippines, and working on a program funded by DIFT UK for looking at ways of rice straw utilization globally. Colonel Ahuja is spearheading the biomass movement in India with his ongoing efforts of harnessing the agro residue potential in India. So let's hear out from Colonel Ahuja his part of the story, biomass supply chain management and bioenergy in India. Over to Colonel Ahuja, please.
Thank you, Colonel Sujan sir, for the introduction, and thanks also for the opportunity amongst the 106 members where I am also there, and being the first one of the block and getting me to do this webinar. So thanks for all the members who are here and others also who have joined. There is a time constraint, so I think we'll go straight to what I have to present, and maybe be able to take question answers towards the end of my presentation. So I think the journey in the second career in the last decade that I am now entrepreneur has been fascinating, has been enriching. Even till date, it's a learning curve where I get to learn every single day about how to survive in the big bad world of business entrepreneurship and how to grow a venture. So a couple of disclaimers at the start. I'll only tell you what I have experienced and the journey I've gone through. It's not for something for you to take as something which is a gospel truth, but you'll have to charter your own journey if you have to look at entrepreneurship journey. The second disclaimer to say is what we do is actually something we really want people to do and get into this line of business. So we work in the bioenergy segment in India, and the company name is kind of the first question I get asked as to why Punjab Renewable, and the company name so is because the first contract was in Punjab, and the thought process at that point of time was that we would have a similar kind of a company and in other states that we work around. So what is bioenergy? Biomass is something which is a loosely coined term where anything which is biodegradable is coined as biomass, and then utilizing that for various forms of energy is where bioenergy comes from. So if you look at India, and I think the bioenergy in India is being a constant with utilizing firewood in the rural kitchens. So that is bioenergy. You're burning biomass, but in an inefficient way. Similarly, the traditional industry went for biomass independent power plants or cogeneration plants, and that utilizes either industrial residue biomass like bagasse or like rice husk from a rice mill or groundnut shell from a groundnut processing mill. Two, what we specialize in is the farm residue biomass. So all those who are in and around Delhi, NCR and Northern India are again facing the huge challenge of stubble burning and facing the challenge of pollution. And I think that's what has been the start point. So my journey into this was a foray where in 2010, I moved out of the army, taking premature retirement after 14 years and 4 months of service. I am from the Corps of Electronic and Mechanical Engineers, and I do see my ex-DGME at that point of time, General Ajay Chandele, who's also on this webinar. So thanks to him, I could move out, and though he advised me not to do it without pension, but then it's been a fantastic journey of 10 years, and I think in hindsight, a good decision I could take at that point of time. So been in a journey. The pull out was from my late uncle who got me out and put me right on the hot seat to look after his business of biomass IPP, and I was absolutely clueless. I did not understand terms of biomass and bioenergy. I did not understand business because I had not studied it, and absolutely I did not understand finance because it still is a challenge. and being right thrown into the fire or the frying pan. It was all learning on the job. And I think that's where I would credit the journey starting from NDA and the army, where every 2 years we go for a new job, new location, new environment, and we kind of fit in it very fast and learn the job that we are supposed to deliver. So I think that came in very handy in my initial years of understanding business. And that's where the differentiator happened, where when I looked at that business, my assessment was the business is not about investing in the project, but the business is about outside the project getting the supply chain management going. And that's where I think my late uncle allowed me to do what I thought was a way to look at business. And he was very supportive of that. And once I got into doing that, I realized that it's not a cakewalk. Having said that, this is where it started in Presspill. And in 2013, that's 7 years ago, I became a owner and promoter in Presspill. Again, thanks to my uncle, he allowed that opportunity. And entrepreneur and owner by default. It was not by design. So I never had the thought process that I would become a promoter of a company or a owner of a company. But when this challenge came and I became a default promoter, I realized that I had to do everything on my own. And it was a very tough phase of 4 5 years, getting teams in place, getting people in place, getting finance and capital in place, retention of teams. And I think that's where the thought processes, going back to the drawing board every week, every fortnight, and learning from the mistakes came about. But the uniqueness of the model was that the problem statement of the burning of biomass in the fields in India and globally also remains. And if a problem statement has been identified, then there is scope for bringing a solution to that problem statement. And if you are able to do that, you will create value going ahead. So I think we stuck onto the problem statement. This was also the wave where solar came into the picture, and there was always a dilemma that do we get into solar or we continue with what we are doing in bioenergy. So I think we only continued with bioenergy with the focus. So what I will present now in the next about 15 20 minutes is to give you a snapshot of how we take this raw biomass, which is burnt in the fields, agri residue, into economic value, and really good economic value. So I think I'll start with the presentation. So we are what the Honorable Prime Minister said from the Red Fort in his clarion call on 15th of August 2019, that the Annadata needs to become the Urja Data. And I think that's exactly what the business of Presspill translates into. So we have business verticals. The start point is the biomass supply. And in understanding and going in the business, we forward integrated by densifying this biomass into briquettes. So you could densify it either into briquettes or pellets, which then becomes a commodity which you can transport to about 200 250 kilometers, competing with fossil fuel as a price point, and then sell this briquette as a commodity. So our second business vertical, one is the biomass supply, second is the briquettes as a commodity which we sell. Further, we went into forward integration because these briquettes go into industrial boilers, and every possible industry has a demand for these briquettes. So be it dairy, breweries, tanneries, FMCG, chemicals, pharma, you name the industry, they require industrial steam. And what we have been able to do is replace conventional fossil fuels, so coal, furnace oil, diesel, and pet coke from industries. So get the polluting fuels out and replace it with biomass. So when you look at these boilers, this is not the core function of the industry to operate these boilers. And that's where we found an opportunity and we stepped in, where we told the industry that we are technical people. Let us take this headache of yours away from you. And we will do it provided we are able to bring the biomass to you, because our intent continues to remain to sell biomass as a commodity. And we will sell steam to you as energy. So we transitioned from being a biomass supply chain management company into a steam energy utility service provider company. So we sell energy today as steam to multiple industries pan India. Once we did this, so this is our 5th year in business where we sell steam as energy. Then we went into a mode of a further forward integration, where we also invest in these boiler assets for our clients. And with this, now we have a captive market to sell biomass for a period of 10 to 15 years since we own these assets. So we brought a process of longevity of sale of biomass from rural India to urban industrial usage and long term. And we were also able to price energy long term. So if you look at any energy pricing, uh, today government of India prices energy only for one day. Petrol, diesel, aviation fuel price changes every day 6 a.m. in the morning. So because the global prices change, but here we are able to price this energy because it is decentralized, it is localized, it is rural, it is captive in a 25, 30, 50 kilometer radius, and the price doesn't change. Plus, the start point of the commodity is biomass, which is a waste, and the farmer does not have any economic value to it, so is burning it in the fields. So we bring a economic value for that waste to the farmer, and hence the price points do not change. And and I've been in this business for 10 years, and I think the price point change, if you link it to inflation, it is around the same about. It doesn't change more than that. So we also invest now in these boiler assets and have these contracts of energy for 10 to 15 years. The newer segments of this business now are more technical, where it's about biofuels. So this biomass now gets converted to petrol, diesel, aviation fuel, compressed biogas, or alias bio CNG, or alias renewable natural gas. And all these have the same properties as would ethanol or the CNG that you fill in your transportation system, or LPG that you use in your house, or you have drop-in fuels, which is a technology of Shell Global, where they are able to convert this biomass directly to petrol, diesel, and aviation fuel. So technology is now available where this input feedstock can be converted to various value-added products. And once you go into the petroleum stream, further now you can go into the petrochemical stream as well. So here you have a waste, agriculture waste, which goes to various values of the petroleum sector. So these are the business verticals that we now work around. And I think with all humility, we are the largest company in this space in India today. I'm sorry, I think I need to. Okay, so this is our footprint in India. So there are two. So where we have projects running, that is the Circular Cross, and where we have projects which are proposed or contracted, is the cross where you can see. So we have pretty much on a pan-India basis, we are working. Now, I think this will be music to ears for all my colleagues from the defense forces. We are all the key management personnel of the company are all defense officers. And uniquely, when you see this slide, we are 5 of us who are NDA Squadron Coastmates from Juliet 87th Coast. So 29 years back in December 91, all 5 of us, there are 15 of us are there. So 5 of us together joined NDA, and I think we are together running this company. So it can't get anything better in terms of the agri soldier tag that Colonel Sujan has given to the group. So this has been our journey in a snapshot. Our company started in 2011. I think I had the first handle of independently running it starting from 2013. And that's where we were able to do our first Series A fundraise. And this was from a Zurich headquartered impact private equity fund called as Responsibility. They are still invested in the business of Pressfill. Further, the journey transition where I mentioned biomass, and then we entered into steam O&M, then we entered into investments in 2018 in the assets on our own. And with the growth cycle, 2019, we had a Series B round where we got invested in by State Bank of India NEEP fund in equity and by Shell Global, the oil and gas major. So currently we have all three as financial and strategic investors on the board of Pressfill and the valuable shareholders in Pressfill. So the business model is pretty kind of simple. We identify rural youth and we coin them as village level entrepreneurs or VLE, and we train them, we empower them, we equip them, and we provide them or the wherewithal to be able to collect and aggregate this biomass from their farms, and then in turn mitigate the burning which happens in the field. Further, we bring it to processing and transportation. So we value add by briquettes, or we bring it to collection centers and then take it to a client, which I gave you multiple agencies which have a requirement for this material today. So some of our clients, and we have these kind of long-term contracts with Sun Pharma, L'Oreal, some marquee names of the industry who are our clients, and we are engaged and we work with them. We have partnership with academic institutions like IIT, Indian Institute of Science, where I think a business synergy and also a technical synergy has got formed, and we have a lot of collaborative projects which we do together. So some of our contracts which are functioning, where the kind of work or the kind of numbers that we are able to realize is on this slide. So we are, in terms of global tender, we were the L1 with Hindustan Petroleum and Bharat Petroleum. They found us to be expensive on the price, so these are likely to be retendered. But I think whenever these tenders come, we would participate, and Pressfill would play a major part in the supply of biomass to these biorefineries which are now coming up in India. So this is our first project. And I think I brought this up here to kind of showcase the integrated model which we have been able to build. So we own this project. We have set up this project in Sun Pharma in Ropar, Punjab, and we sell steam to our client. So what is this project about? So it's a build, own, operate, transfer project. We have invested about 17 crores in this project, and we have created the entire integrated support system to be able to sell energy to the client out of this project. So there are many benefits which we are able to bring, but the key benefit I would take away is the connect between the soldier and the farmer. And I think the Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan is a true connect which we have been able to translate on the ground. So at least about 70% of Pressfill employees at the mid and junior level, and in fact 100% on the top level, are all ex-defense personnel. So we employ the defense personnel, we select them in their rural areas or in their small class B, class C cities where our projects are, and train them and empower them. And then they are the ones who connect with the farming community to be able to deliver what is desired as the business model. So this is a highlight of the project. So what you see here is the agri residue biomass in the storage shed which is there, and how this gets converted into energy. So this is a snapshot of the project when we started. The other good part is we built this project on our own. And Colonel Sumit Malan, the Chief Technology Officer and my buddy and coursemate, he got onboarded about 18 months ago, and head on he was like me on the frying pan, and he was to construct and build this project. And like I didn't know the ABCD of biomass, he didn't know the ABCD of biomass or boilers, so to say. But engineers officer, he took it on, and in a record time of 11 months, he constructed and started this project. And to his credit, this project is operational from 20th of March 20 this year. And today we are on 31st of October. The project is operating to 100% capacity right through the COVID. So I think that's the kind of planning and support the defense people are able to bring to this business. So that's when we had the groundbreaking on 9th of April 2019, and 20th March the project was running and up and about. So what's the technology? And here I would like to mention the synergies and partnerships that you grow with. So the Forbes Marshall Group is a leading boiler manufacturer in India, and they have this technology Forbes Winca, which is a Indian and a Belgium technology joint venture, and they are the strategic partners with Prespel and vice versa. So we source our boilers from them, and being technical people, we understand this is the best boiler available in the market, and hence we use this technology for conversion of that biomass into energy. So this is one of the forms that I mentioned which we do. So how do we build it? So what you see here on the left top hand side of the slide is how we connect with the farmers and how we impress upon them what is it that we expect from them and how it is going to work. The farmers are the village level entrepreneurs who actually do the work. We guide them, we train them, we support them. That's the work that Prespel or the defense people who are there, they do. And uniquely, I'll just take the pointer. You see this gentleman who is in a white lafa. He was our first VLE in Haveri in Karnataka, and 1 year down the line today, he has bought a second-hand car and 2 new tractors. So I think what we are able to give and translate to our village level entrepreneurs is actual wealth and actual jobs and actual creation of value from the wealth. So we train very hard, and I think that's the genesis where the defense forces always train very hard. So we train very hard. We teach people, we guide them. We have very stringent safety standards. We make mistakes and we learn from them, and we kind of bring it back to the ground so that we don't repeat them again. And these are all day-to-day activities of our business. So inherently, by the business model, we control pollution. We reduce the CO2 emission to the atmosphere. We reduce greenhouse gases. And one of the awards which was given last month is the United Nations Sustainability Award for Business was given to Prespel for its business model. So that's the most recent award which we got, and that is to be able to uh, translate the sustainable development goals into actuality from a business. So we are much cheaper than the conventional fossil fuel, and that's what we are able to demonstrate. We are more energy efficient, and third-party audits by SIDBI have recently given those reports where we are up to 15% more energy efficient than conventional fossil fuel. So the experiences is what I'm sharing, and these experiences are that our assets and our boilers are sparkling clean all the time. So even when you work with biomass, you don't have any smell. You can actually sit in those boiler houses and enjoy a meal. So that's the kind of deliverance to a client, and that's the kind that we pride ourselves in Prespel of what we are able to do. So I think the smiling faces of the farmers and our employees say it all. We are 300 plus employees, permanent employees in Prespel. Right through the COVID, we have been hiring. So instead of retrenchment of people, we are continuously hiring because the business is increasing. In fact, right from the month of April till October, every month, the business of Prespel has been on a monthly high in the last decade. So the business is only going up. So I think even despite the global pandemic, we have never seen a downside. So I think this was already mentioned. I'm good having completed the presentation and my monologue in the first 30 minutes. Very happy to take questions, and I think if we can interact, it will be very interesting. So, Colonel Sujan sir, over to you, and I think you could open it up to the audience if that is appropriate.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So you have heard the beautiful presentation and the way Colonel Ahuja has steered the company and how his buddies, his course mates, the ex-servicemen, all of them are there together and creating an impact pan-India. So I will request if anyone has got any queries, any questions, he can shoot. Admin, kindly unmute whoever sends a chat message that he wants to ask a question.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes, sir.
So, Manish, that was an excellent presentation.
Thank you so much, sir. Good to see you here, sir.
Yeah, always there. So now you began in Punjab. What's your presence like in Uttar Pradesh and Haryana? And with the governments all promising to help the farmers to stop stubble burning, how come they are not funding you to take on this job?
Sir, I think that's the dichotomy of the situation, sir. Just to mention this, I presented this model to Sir Philip Barton, the UK High Commissioner to India, and this was 2 months back during the pandemic. And his question to me was, quote unquote, "Why is Government of India not chasing you?" So I think you echo that, sir. The reason where we are still faltering is we have still not been able to get the demand side going, sir. The raw material is available, the model is available, successfully running, and there are many more now companies like Prespel which are on the anvil of taking off. But on the demand side, industry and government has still not been able to bring that as going. The second part is, I think there is a gap in terms of funding because funding comes from the growth of the business or the projects. So when you see the financial partners of Prespel, I think 100% of the money there, barring something from State Bank of India, is external funding, sir. Shell is external funding, responsibility is external funding, and even the NEEF fund, 70% of the money is out of DFID UK. So again, it's government of UK funding. So I think the answer there is we as a country need to realize that we need to put in money towards sustainable businesses rather than the global companies or governments looking at India for those sustainable solutions. So that's one part which will need to be done. The second part, with the current recent notification which came out 2 days ago, the farmers are now going to be penalized by law and by regulation for burning it. So if they don't burn, what do they do? So companies of business like models like Prespel are the solution, and hence I had said we need hundreds and thousands of more Prespels to come up pan India. So we have 500 million metric tons of bio waste available in India, which goes unutilized. So sky is the limit to be able to utilize this potential.
Yeah,
Colonel
you
Manish.
mentioned that you have a vertical where you can, in the petrochemical side, you can convert this to fuel directly or to gas directly. So I think there is a demand for those products. So what about that factor?
Sir, it is coming up. So the oil majors like Shell, the oil marketing companies India like HPCL, BPCL, IOCL, the other global companies like BP, Total, Naira, they are all now very actively pursuing this, sir, and it is coming up.
Okay. Colonel Sujan, may I say something? Colonel Sujan,
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
I am General Mahapatra speaking. Firstly, I want to congratulate the Colonel. Beautiful and excellent presentation. And lot of lessons have been learned out of it. Firstly, the army training, etc. But what has impressed me, and it is a matter of great pride, that you have been able to welcome and have been able to get the other your friends, your postmates, and the ex-servicemen. 70% of the workforce is ex-servicemen. 100% top. It is fantastic. And the journey that you have recounted is absolutely first class. My first question is, will you allow somebody to do a case study on your company? That is the first question.
Yes, sir. The answer is yes. More than happy to do that. In fact,
Okay.
I think there are, if you Google my name, sir, and if you Google, there will be at least more than 100 case study publications which will be available, sir.
Oh, already there. Okay.
Yes, sir. So I
Well,
think the
well, I
model
did
has
not
been
know
acknowledged
that.
globally, sir.
As we run a management college, and after I heard you, this will be a very good one, and I'll sit at Bhubaneswar, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. The second point what I have, after I've heard you, you see the big business houses, they are all interested in saving money and making better profit. There is nothing wrong with it. With such technology which is available now, how come these big companies have not been able to grasp it? Once they know what are the benefits, it is better for them from financial point of view. So why aren't they getting onto it, or you are finding it difficult to approach these big companies who are guzzling energy for their production? Over to you.
Sir, I had given a number where we are 30 to 40% lower in terms of the cost for these companies where we are delivering, and hence all these big companies are making the shift, sir. So it is something which is, I think they have recognized it. While everybody has a mandate to say that they would go green, but unless it makes commercial sense, they do not go green. So today, utilizing this makes commercial sense, and hence they are going green. The second part, sir, some companies actually have mandates of those greenhouse gas reduction. And a case in point here is L'Oreal, which before they signed the contract with us, for 6 months, they did a global audit on the business of Prespel. It was ordered by L'Oreal Paris. And they did a mapping of the entire life cycle of biomass to the ash which goes back, and what would be the quantum of CO2 reduction. And after those results were published, they agreed and they have gone ahead with this business model. So the answer to your question there is, sir, that yes, it is cost effective, it is cheaper, and the biggest takeaway for them is they are able to price energy for their business model for 10 years. If you compare fossil fuel which they were using, they are not able to price that more than 15 days at a time.
Thank you, Colonel.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for the question, sir.
Yeah, Lieutenant Colonel Manish Ahuja, this is me, MS Patke from Bharat Petroleum.
Sir, excellent to see you here, and thanks so much for joining, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, congratulations on your entire journey and also an excellent presentation. It's really heartening to see that somebody venture into the business, and that too in a field which is not so common, and it's really very challenging, very commendable on your part, and also the people who are working with you. So my compliments to all of you. Now, coming to the business per se. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So no, basically, one must realize that we are dealing with biomass and the concept is completely new. That means usage of wastage into something very productive. Now, the problem that I am seeing in India today, and for which you are also partly struggling, is because there are various agencies which need to work, and I think that is where the integrating mechanism has to operate. Like, I have also been trying from various levels that state governments have to become very active. The agriculture departments of state government have to become very active. I have a lot of hope because if you look at Brazil, if you look at USA and all that, where a lot of carbon credits and also have been given. So ultimately, if the venture has to be commercially successful, then obviously uh, the manufacturers, I'm talking about the industries to whom you are supplying, need to have some kind of credits available to them. I think we have a long way to go in India today, and I think there is a lot of hope for people like you because, as you said, many principles have to come, but many principles will come only when there is a support mechanism operating for the downstream industry, and unless that is there, it's very hard for you people to come up. Because what happens is, while you have to run your business successfully and profitably, the fact remains that when I manufacture biofuel, the calorific value of which is lower than the fossil fuel, I will have to struggle in terms of price. And therefore, unless in this country sustainability comes at a premium, which means I am able to charge from the customer because it's a green fuel, it will not be profitable venture for any industry for that matter. So I think one of the suggestions to you is also that while you are working to make your business prosper and succeed, expand horizontally and vertically, I think a lot of collaborative mechanisms have to be put in place where a state government, MNRE have to come forward, and in terms of policy, a lot of changes have to take place. Um, so therefore, I think you are on the right track. But only suggestion is that somewhere I think a lot of boundary management will have to be done to make sure that the struggle is not so much spread over 10 years, 15 years. We don't have that kind of time. As a country, in next 5 years or so, we should put this waste into productive use. That's what I personally believe. And I think it's a very big hope. The companies like you are into this field, and my best wishes to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, Milind Patke, sir. And I think I echo your thoughts over there. I'm absolutely with you on it. And yes, the model has to be sustainable. And if you just, I'll just take a point there, sir. When you said sustainable and when you said about cost, who's paying for the environment cost and health cost of what we are facing in North India today? And North India is only highlighted because other states are not highlighted or picked up by India. To give you a statistical number, the highest burning is in Punjab, and the second highest agri residue burning in India is in Madhya Pradesh. So we as a country, as an economy, and these are US published numbers, we lose $30 billion a year by burning this agri residue in terms of health, environment, and GDP cost. So we are paying for it. The only reason is people who have to take the decision are paying this at a later stage, and only thing we need to do is bring it in upfront today and pay ahead so that we don't lose this as an economy. The second part, sir, and I'm sorry, I'll put you on the mat over here. Why has a BPCL and a HPCL not invested in the business of Pressfill? Why does a Shell have to come and invest from outside? Why does a Zurich headquartered fund have to come and invest from outside? Why does the government of UK as DFID need to come and invest? The reason is we are so myopic in our thinking in our country that we start thinking that a businessman is a thief. We start thinking that why should I put money in this? And that's the mindset we need to change. I'm not talking about a Pressfill, but this is a general question at large. Today, we are pushing entrepreneurship. We are pushing social entrepreneurship. We are pushing Startup India. Why has a BPCL not got into the hundreds more Pressfill and supported that as funding for it to happen in rural India? So these are hard questions to answer, sir. And I don't expect that answer from you. But I think we need to take this back in the environment, that we need to change our mindset towards sustainability, towards better health, towards better environment, and automatically this business will become sustainable. So next, anybody else, sir? So you'll have to excuse me. I have a hard stop at 7:30. I have another call. So happy to take questions for another 15 minutes, sir.
Hi, Manish. Manish Guruprasad here from Bangalore. How are you?
Very well, sir. Good to see you. Thanks for joining this webinar, sir.
Thank you, Manish. And really good presentation here. And congratulations to you. And I've been seeing your growth after you come back as a stint in the defense. And you are going great. And congratulations for that also. My simple question, Manish, is what are your plans to expansion in South India? I heard your presentation. There was some person in Haveri also doing some work for you. Okay, but as such, what are your plans? Any plans are there? You already have chartered something which is going already.
So we are already now in the state of Karnataka. We are in Haveri. We will be working hopefully very soon with Mangalore Refinery in Dharwad in Davangere area. We are engaged in a very advanced stage with large pharma companies out of Hyderabad, out of Bangalore. So we will be expanding footprint across South India. We are already in Goa now. Specifically, we will need to be in regions of agri residue availability, and then we can take it to the urban areas. So our investments will predominantly be in the rural areas, agriculture belts in South India, and we have started that. In fact, the most recent office of Presswell has been in West Bengal in Kolkata.
So yes, another small extension here, just small extension, Manish. Is that how do you plan to target farmers? How do you go about that? Because if I need to speak to somebody here in locally and get some
happy to associate. So we have two concepts there, sir. One is the village level entrepreneur, which is actually the farmer who we get into entrepreneurship. The second is what we call as a channel partner, which is if the more affluent in the rural areas want to invest in densification of biomass, we support them by setting up these industries. We support them with the entire takeoff of the product. So 100% marketing is done by Presswell, and they can work in their rural areas with that agri residue and get paid for the work that they do and the ownership of the projects. So any area or wherever there is a demand, the Presswell team would come in. They would hold these rural camps. So they would hold this engagement. And if people want to look at this as an entrepreneurship, we will support the entire value chain and grow it for them.
Thank you, Manoj.
Anyone else, please?
Hello, this is R.V. Kulkarni from Sun Pharma.
Sir, good evening. And sir, I presented the project that we have done with Sun Pharma. So congratulations to you as well, sir.
Congratulations to Manish Ehuraji. It is nice to get in connection with you, and it was a great opportunity to get along, and we were fortunate to have you on our board, and we are very lucky because the way the project was going when we started our connection, I felt you will lose your interest, but your great determination and the willpower in handling because of your background had made the project successful, and we are very lucky. And as you rightly said, hundreds and thousands of Manish Ahuja ji has to be there for the environmental protection. And I am sure your initiation in this will develop. And now India is proud of having you like this. And I'm sure your encouragement will make many farmers also to improve upon this. Thank you for that.
Thank you, R.V. Kulkarni ji, and much appreciate you joining this. So for the audience on the webinar, Mr. R.V. Kulkarni is one of the bosses in Sun Pharma, and he is a director there. And I think he has supported Presswell as a small company in allowing us to take this opportunity and grow this business. And companies like Sun Pharma, when I went to banks, banks just did not support me to fund me. So companies like them gave us their corporate guarantee so that we could go and raise funds with the banks. So I think thank you so much for all the support, sir.
Thank you, Manishji. I should be thankful to you because you made this possible. I was losing the hope the way the things were going, but because of your strong determination and the willpower, you made it possible. Thank you and all the best wishes.
Thank you, sir. We'll take the next question, sir. Anybody?
Yeah, this is Kedar. I had a question. I mean, this is first of all, this is great work, and really appreciate what you're doing. As a contribution to all of us. One question was, does this also apply to MSW? Because right now this is yes for the agri waste, but do you have plans to include it for MSW, or what changes will be required?
So Kedar, the answer there is yes, it applies to MSW. MSW is also biomass, and there are MSW utilization projects that could be in the compressed biogas space. It can also be in the energy generation as steam or even electricity. The challenge with MSW is in the handling of the municipal solid waste in India, the segregation is a challenge. And when it goes into the landfills or just before the landfills for the segregation, that's where I think is the biggest challenge of how to get the MSW waste in the form and consistent form that you can convert it into energy into a project. So that's something which now, with the segregation of waste at source which has started, things are getting better. There are many companies who are utilizing MSW, and one of the leading companies there as well is promoted by an ex-defense officer, and they are in this business for the last about 2 decades plus. So they are also doing some excellent work in the MSW space. As far as Prespel is concerned, yes, we have MSW on our radar. We have used cooking oil on our radar, because you can convert the used cooking oil into biodiesel. So both these aspects are being actively pursued by us now.
Monishji, this is Venkat here from Chennai.
Hi Venkat sir, good to see you here. Good evening.
Good evening. I've been listening to it, but joined a little bit late. Talking on MSW, we are right now a commercial plant is being commissioned, constructed, and almost ready to commission for MSW to jet fuel in Nevada in USA. So we want to bring the technology to India. We already talked to IOC, Mr. SSV Ramkumar agreed that he will take up our proposal. We gave him a proposal last October. It takes time, but I think we are very confident once we have commissioned this plant, people will get a greater confidence to go ahead with MSW to advance biofuels. So I would like to support you on that and get us the MSW along with the other aggregators. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Hi Manish, this is Philip from IREDA.
Hi sir, Philip sir, good to see you here. So he is the guy who funds almost 90-95% of my projects. Good to see you here, Secretary Philip sir.
Yeah, just wanted to express my thing that we are proudness that we are associated with a company like Prespel.
Thank you so much, sir. And I hope many more Prespels come to you for the funding, sir.
Yeah, we look forward.
Hello, Manish.
Yes, sir.
I'm Dr. Yadav. If you can recall, I was the DG of National Institute of Bioenergy.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And good to see you here, Professor Yadav, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, we started the journey, I think, almost the same time in 2013.
Sir.
So my first lecture was on supply chain management, and it was Bioenergy Summit in Delhi. So we met first time.
That's right, sir.
So after looking at your presentation today, I wish to congratulate you and thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think
and
all
secondly,
of you have been good
have a
guiding lights for us, sir.
because I am quite near to you in Haryana with Haryana Agriculture University, and we have a very good department of renewable and bioenergy engineering here in the university now. So,
we are in Haryana. We work with a large sugar cogeneration plant in Ambala, and it's a unique project where IREDA has funded that, and they have also funded us to support biomass supply to that project. We have recently bid for Indian Oil project in Panipat for supply of biomass. There is a large second generation bioethanol refinery which Indian Oil is constructing, and hopefully the tender result should be out in the next fortnight also. So we
Yeah,
will
our
be
vision had
expanding
come true
operations
with
in.
your efforts, and only thing is we can still be in touch wherever we can, in whatever form we can.
Sure, sir. Definitely we'll do that, sir.
And once again, congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir.
Any more questions, please?
This is R.V. Kulkarni from Sun Pharma, Vice President. I have a suggestion, Colonel Monisha ji.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
See, many companies, I believe on 4th also there is a national discussion along with all the pharma and the API industries on reduction of carbon footprint as a part of the commitment given by Indian government to reduce the carbon footprint in India as a part of the environmental commitment. Now, people like you are encouraging, definitely it will help, but to motivate the people, there should be some attraction from the government side also. If any efforts can be put to reduce, earlier there used to be a benefit for reducing the carbon footprint and it used to be sold out. But now government, US has stopped that business. But if India can give some concession in the form of reducing the cess in the electricity bill, probably that will help for encouraging the industrialist and the entrepreneurship, so that the people will definitely come forward with greater interest. This is one suggestion if it can be taken forward. Thank
Sir,
you.
surely, sir. I think I will endeavor to take it ahead in various forums that I am engaged in interacting with government. So just in line to mention here, sir, now the compressed biogas projects and the bioenergy projects have been included in the priority sector lending in the recent RBI notification about 2 to 3 weeks ago. So that's one part. So I think it's a very positive step from RBI and the government. The second part is the biomass supply chain management has now been recognized as one of the key elements for bioenergy. And very soon, likely, there is going to be a special fund from Government of India to support this biomass supply chain management. So it's going to give a big push to the rural economy towards a cheaper capital available towards this biomass supply chain management. So I think I can urge people to look for that scheme, which is going to come very soon, and then look to tap at that resources. Again, uniquely, that fund is going to be run by IREDA. So I think that's the institution to keep a lookout.
Hi, Colonel Ahuja.
Thank you. Thank you for your efforts.
Thank you so much, sir.
Hi, Colonel Ahuja. This is Neeraj Bajoria. We've been studying the biogas CBG market and looking at setting up a plant also of this business. What are the possibilities of raising funding since it's been classified under the priority sector funding of RBI? Banks are still not willing to move forward.
So Neeraj, thanks for the question and thanks for joining in here. There is IREDA who you should approach. There is now a special scheme, again, only 2 weeks back, started by State Bank of India to fund compressed biogas projects. So these are two specific financial institutions which should be your first port of call. On the equity side also, I believe now there are many private equity funds who are willing to support CBG projects. And there are few funds as platforms who have taken this up, where Prespel is already engaged. So, so the business and the offtake of the Satat scheme by the oil marketing companies is a fairly bankable instrument if you have that. So the few challenges are there in terms of price point, take or pay, and I think those will get addressed very soon by government, because those are impediments which need to be removed, which will happen. So I think if you are looking at this business, you are looking at the right step, because this is the start of what is happening in India. And there are 5,000 projects which are already announced that government would buy that compressed biogas. Even the recent statement in the energy dialogue by Prime Minister last week specifically talked about a rural gas-based economy based on CBG. So I don't think there is any going back on that.
Okay. Can you tell me which branch of State Bank of India is handling this? Any
But
idea?
I'm not too sure where you're based, but if you see the slide, my details are there. Drop me an email and somebody from my office will respond and connect you to them.
Sure, sure. Thanks a lot. Lovely. I'll do that. Thanks
Sure.
a lot. Nice speaking to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Neeraj.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is 7:30 now, so we are planning to close. Any last question, anyone?
I have a question. General Mahapatra here.
Hello.
What connection,
Hello?
have you got any contact for Odisha? Is there any proposal, any linkages or anything has happened?
Yes,
for
sir.
this
So
particular
we participated in the Bharat Petroleum tender for a second generation ethanol plant, which is coming up in Bargarh. We were the L1 winners for that contract, but as I had mentioned, because of price points, it was cancelled. We do believe it will come out again. So we will be starting off with Orissa with Bargarh as an area. And we are also looking at few more projects in Orissa, sir. So we should be there in the next 3 to 4 months' time, sir.
Very good. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. Look forward to it, sir.
Thanks, Colonel Ahuja. That's a wonderful presentation, and we are looking forward to meet you here in Bhubaneswar.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Hello. Good evening. One last point I just wish to add. Actually, Lieutenant Colonel Ahuja just invited me just half an hour back. This is P.R. Reddy from SIDBI. Yeah. So I mean, I have been listening to him and knowing him since 2010 or 11. So one of the wonders he has done, while many biomass players have failed in Andhra, Tamil Nadu, and all, unable to, grab the biomass or in a management point of view. That's where Colonel Ahuja scored a point over others, and he has brought his army skills or management skills to bring about changes in collection of the fuel. So that being apart, so recently we have gone through his cases for one of his projects in Pune. So we have agreed to fund his projects as energy efficient project, which will bring which will have imports of fuel oil and other petroleum products, because he's going to replace in many places boilers of fuel oil or other petroleum products, which will bring about 14 15 maybe more efficiency. Also, it will reduce 90% of the CO2. So this is the objective of many international organizations like global organizations. So therefore this fits the bill into that. So what SIDBI will do is they take loan from any SIDBI branches or IRIDA or any other banks. We will give a guarantee for that project up to 75% of the loan. So there's a scheme which, of course, it will take some time to explain. It's called partial risk sharing facility. Basically, he need not, in a net result is, he need not give much collateral to the bank where he is taking the loan. So that is one thing. And what else? I just wanted to say one more thing. Other thing, somebody asked the financing options for CBG, compressed biogas projects. In the last 6 months, the current petroleum minister from Orissa, I think he's forgot his name. So he has held, a number of discussions with our CMD, SIDBI CMD, IRIDA CMD, and perhaps SBI CMD. The ministry is pushing a lot to develop schemes for giving loans to these projects in a big manner. So SIDBI, we have 77 branches all over India. So all SIDBI branches also, you can get the details from our website. So you can access any of these branches plus SBI. SBI also, those branches are division which finances industrial projects. So you can ask them anybody industrial projects. So they would finance these projects. Plus, of course, my friend KP Philip also just spoke. They also fund these biogas projects. So now a lot of banks are coming forward. It's a big push from government of India.
So thank you for the opportunity, Lieutenant Colonel Ahuja ji.
Thank you, PR Reddy sir. So again, what we have engaged with
Hello?
Sidvi, what we have engaged with Sidvi
Hello.
and what he mentioned here is something which is very unique for this business and for these projects. We could go to them and we could prove to them that these are energy efficient to this extent and mitigating CO2 up to 90%. And then they have come forward to give this 75% guarantee. So people like me who are first generation entrepreneurs, and when the banks start asking for hard collaterals, house, land, and when we don't have that, how do you do business? And I think these are the kind of schemes that you fall back to, you go and engage with, and they support businesses like us, where they tell the banks, go ahead and lend. And for some reason, if these projects go bad, we support with the collateral or the risk management sharing up to 75%. So I think that's what he was trying to say. So it's available, it can be taken, and I think that's what new entrepreneurs can look at also. Colonel Sujan sir, over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Colonel Ahuja. Thanks a lot, dear members and non-members who have attended it. And this is a Agri Soldiers, and recently we have named it as Agri Forces. You know, like we are planning to build a platform on which all the Army, Navy, and Air Force officers who have retired and who have taken a plunge into horticulture, anything to do with the biomass, you know, like we are planning to collaborate, and it's a pan-India platform we are creating, and it started just during the COVID-19, 5th of July. And we want to take it forward, and we want to force reckoner in this and see how the country grows and how the knowledge sharing happens and how we are going to go in for the handholding of the people who are retiring. And instead of joining a job, they get into the entrepreneurship mode with the discipline, with the integrity of the armed forces. Thanks a lot. And next webinar of ours is going to be something on the organic farming, and we are lining it up. So probably we are going to meet in the second week of November. Thank you so much. Thanks, Colonel Ahuja.
Thank you so much, John, and thanks so much for inviting me for the first one. Have a good evening, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all. Yeah.
Thank you, Sujan. All the best. It has been wonderful. It
Thank
has
you,
been
sir.
wonderful to hear all the people and to see them also. The photograph, they all look strong and entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs. That's what we want. Thank you very much for taking the initiative, and more to follow. Goodbye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Swarup, we can close the meeting, please.
Hello, Sujan sir. Hello.